Max here. Welcome to the show. It's another Switch 2 video, and I believe my concerns have been validated. If this is accurate, I have to throw that disclaimer out there because this could be BS, but I don't think it is. I think what you're going to be getting with the Switch 2 is a reason to charge you $70 for first-party Nintendo games. I think that's the reason you haven't been getting more like big IP at the end of the Switch 1's life cycle. And I think it's too little too late, although it's probably still going to do okay. But I also feel this is the end of an era for Nintendo. I think Nintendo have been innovators for a long time. I think even the idea of a Switch 1 was an innovative thing. But what we saw from the whole life cycle of the Switch 1 is very few brand new games and new ideas. Basically, it's just Zelda as an open world game. I wasn't impressed with Mario Odyssey. And Mario Kart 8 was the same game we got on the Wii U. So I've been playing that for at least 8 years, I think. And then Smash Brothers was great because it included everything, but there's not a lot of innovation. So I think the innovation is lacking, and I will gladly accept the I'm not a Nintendo hater if they have some surprises at launch. But I am going on the record of thinking of going on the record of I am thinking, but saying to you that I think what you think the Switch 2 is actually what it is. And the surprises are limited. The innovations are limited. And it's just a reason to charge you more money. Although, I will say seeing your games instantly upgraded would be amazing. But that hasn't been clarified yet. That how that's going to work. We do know backwards compatible. But if you put a game in a Switch 2, is it going to suddenly output to 4K for your TV? I don't know. So the context of this video, it's from, let me see. Switch Up. I actually good thing I checked. I almost said the wrong thing. So Switch Up. Someone sent us the Switch 2 mock-up and its case. We have thoughts, and then they compare it to the Switch OLED, I believe. So let's look a little bit. Let's jump around. I'm not going to play the whole video.
Let me just show you that. There we go. There it is.
Include his voice that much. This is the case. This is the Switch 2. If it's real, apparently the people that made the 3D print of the Switch 2 said they don't have it officially, but they got the dimensions from someone. Here's the other reason I think this is probably what you're going to get with Switch 2 is, it's not that easy. It's not that difficult to get the dimensions if you work in the industry. They have also something. The other reason there's a benefit of this, they have something to work off with the first model, the first OLED, the first Switch. So they know the design already. So that's in comparison to a Steam Deck. Compared to the OLED model, let me see. Maybe we'll play his voice at this part. All right, here we go.
The original Switch OLED. It's just the original Switch general language and design. How about the thickness?
It's a little bit thicker.
Not a great deal in it at all. I don't think there's any significant difference in thickness at all. If I turn,
it's not a thick boy. I mean, it's just as thick as the first one, if this is accurate. I have to keep throwing that out there because someone's going to say, Max, you don't know if this is confirmed. As long as it's a good screen, I'm okay with that. It's a little bit bigger. Let me see. All right, here we go. I was looking at my phone there.
Turn them around so we've got the same side on each one. If I align the ports, though, you can really see that size difference. This is with the console starting at the same point. So you have an inch.
Okay, so that's where you really see the difference. It's bigger. It's bigger screen. Hopefully 1080p. I don't think you're getting a 4K handheld. Steam Deck, Rogue Ally, they don't do that yet. Maybe if Xbox or Sony get into it, maybe Sony and Xbox are going to deliver 4K handhelds to really change the market. That would be a game changer. Now I'm thinking about it. Is that possible in this technology? Would that be, I mean, I know it's possible to make it that small, but is it possible to make it affordable with a 4K handheld? Maybe we're there. Maybe by the time they come out, screens will be more affordable in that, because we're going to, honestly, the TV market's going to be moving on to 8K in the next few years anyway. It's about time the handheld got to 4K. So if they do that and the Switch 2 is on 1080p and only 4K on docked, that's going to be, because I do feel like we are heading towards a direct war between Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo for docked systems. Where you take your games everywhere, you stream them and everything. Cloud gaming, it's not, I mean, it's there already. Not a lot of people use it. A few more years of advancements in AI. AI is probably working on advancing cloud gaming. It's going to get there. You feed an AI system. How do you improve cloud gaming? And we're probably going to get there pretty quick. I'm thinking, don't be shocked. Don't be shocked. Okay, so let's look at that. So it's a bigger screen.
Much more on the new model, if it is the new model. You've also got a much larger grate for the fans. That's a lot bigger on the top there. Interestingly, the volume buttons are slightly smaller.
I am glad that there's more vents, because the Switch 1 and the Switch OLED, they do run hot sometimes. Right now, I'm most interested in the controller, though, because the Joy-Cons should have been replaced a long time ago. They shouldn't have to release a whole new system or whole new SKU. The great thing about the original Switch was if the Joy-Con stopped working, you just buy another one. It doesn't ruin your handheld. Like it before, if you had a Nintendo handheld system before and the controllers, the D-pad or the buttons stopped working, you'd have to send it in for repairs or get a new one. But that was the benefit, but they never upgraded the Joy-Cons for how many years? Absolute BS.
But if these are correct, they're a little bit easier to press. You can feel them a little easier on the top there. Again, who knows if this is just, if it's going to look
clean your fingernails, dude.
Like that, but that's an interesting one. It's great to see the headphone jack is in the same spot.
If this is accurate, here's a look at the game card. Let me move myself over here. The game card there. It looks the same, maybe slightly better, slightly more secure for the game card. I don't know how I feel about that either, because I like physical media. But if Switch 2 keeps those same game cards, are you going to get 4K high fidelity games on the game cards, or are you going to get more voucher in the box or more downloads? I don't know how capable these cartridges are still, or maybe you get like a Super Game Boy thing where you have it slightly bigger for the new Switch 2 cartridges, and then you could slide it in an adapter to play the Switch 1 games. I don't know, but just looking at this, it looks like it's the same, which I don't know if I like that or not. I don't know. I know that means physical media, but you've had mixed results towards the end of the Switch 1's life cycle about game cards, and it's been limiting for a lot of games. So we'll have to get the full picture when Nintendo officially announces this.
So we have a headphone jack.
But overall, though, I will be real. I'm not doing this for just to be hyperbolic. I am a little bit underwhelmed until I see some great games. And I don't think there's going to be great games at the beginning. I don't. I think it's going to be better versions of games that are going to be on Switch 1 and Switch 2. I don't see a lot of first-party Nintendo games at the start that are going to push the system to the limit. I just don't see it. They're going to release them on both, but it's going to be better on Switch 2. And a lot of remasters. And I've been wanting to make this. I'll do this part of it too. Here's my prediction. I feel like you are most likely going to get Super Mario 64 remake in 4K. The first 3D Mario game. Now, should they do that? I think they should. The way that Nintendo in 2024, 2025 would release it, I feel like they'll charge a premium. And the other reason I come upon this prediction is I think there was more to the Super Mario 3D All-Stars release, and when they delisted it, I think that is a collector's item, and that may be the last time you get. This is the whole reason behind my theory. I could be wrong. That's the last time you could get Super Mario 64 before the remake. If there was one Nintendo game in the 3D era that they should do a remake for, it'd probably be Super Mario 64, Zelda Ocarina of Time, or Star Fox 64. And I think if you're going to do that, the first one you do is Mario. So I hope we get a sequel to Mario Odyssey or something completely different. I actually would like something completely different because Super Mario Odyssey is probably my least favorite 3D Mario game. It's not bad. I just wasn't excited by it like I was for others because I like all the like the Tanuki suits and all of the powers you get. I don't like throwing a hat on something else and becoming that thing. It's kind of, I like that he gets a power up and he becomes Mario in a cat suit or flower power or Tanuki raccoon or something like that. I like that. And that's why it's my least favorite. And then it's in like Mario in real world settings and sometimes. And I was like, okay, this is a gimmick, which I appreciate some cool gimmicks, but it kind of limits what you could do with Mario. And then it's just like Mario becomes everything now, but it's not as cute or cool. You know, you love Mario's power-up suits. Okay, so let me get back to here. See what else. This is going to be a long video because we're going to break this down. I do believe this is accurate, but there's a headphone jack.
The top here, exactly where it was before, almost 1-for-1 in that regard, maybe slightly over to the right if you were to centralize these. But the game cartridge is looking really promising, isn't it? This, although it is a millimeter larger on the right, I think that's looking likely it's going to be the same format, isn't it?
Yeah, and I don't know if I'm
worrying about whether or not they change the cartridges up. Now, that's not to say that it doesn't take a larger format card, though. That's something that we'll have to see, isn't it?
Yes, I hope that it does. I hope that maybe there's another slot for it or something, because I would like a better. I don't know if the Switch cards, again, are capable of having a full 4K game on them. Okay.
See what they do with that. Certainly, they could have created a port that accepts both. I mean, it is slightly wider, slightly longer. So there, you know, we will see. We will see. I think it's useful to have the comparison of the other device. Now, on the top, the most interesting thing to me is the Type-C port. Now,
that's good. Everything's Type-C now, which is good.
Showcased by
I'm going to pause last so we could get through this, but yeah, USB-C. We've got to the point where they're like. Fortunately, the electronics industry is set on a standard instead of buying different cables for every system. It's getting annoying. So that's great. That's great.
Reveal of the 3D print that was released, and having it on the top is a huge deal. The reason being is in the past, whenever you'd had the unit on the ground, you were going to play like this, you couldn't actually plug in the power. It was just a really bad idea, like just a terrible design. Now you've got both. So I'm guessing we've got a similar docking setup. You've got the dock on the bottom and power, and then you've got the top. Now, I wonder if this will also be able to be used.
That's actually disappointing that there's the dock power at the bottom. I hope it's just for charging, because honestly, and I'm going to full size myself for this, I think that the future of Switch 2 would be that you don't even have to dock your Switch, and it just connects to your dock. And you could use that as a controller, and then maybe you can have it as a menu for stuff like Zelda in your inventory, like the Wii U. You know, that would be next level to me, where you don't have to dock. Or maybe if they did that, then the technology would be that you... Okay. Text from my mother giving me instructions for tomorrow. Or if that was possible, then you have a high-powered 4K dock that connects wirelessly so you could still use the controller without detaching it, and then have 2. And that would be an upgrade to the Switch and the Wii U. And then we could get some asymmetrical games. You could get some ports from the Wii U much easier if they haven't like scoured every inch of the games from there. But you could release games like that. And I think that would be next level. And that would be probably where Nintendo would have gone before they had such success of just combining it and removing some of the things that made some of the last consoles interesting, like really good Wiimote. You don't have the thing there. You could easily have some light gun games if you still have the sensor bar and not the Joy-Cons. And the second screen, the dual screen was really, really important for Nintendo for quite some time. All right. We'll get here and final thoughts on this. Look at the controller.
A dock. Now, I'm sure Nintendo's dock won't use it, but whether or not third-party peripherals will, that's a lot more interesting. And it's something that most handheld PCs, handheld gaming devices, things like the Steam Deck, that's where theirs is. And, hopefully, but it is Nintendo. So, if it just charges, then that's absolutely fine. There's quite a bit to say about the Joy-Cons.
All right, that's what I want to see.
Compared to an original set of Joy-Cons.
Because that's the thing, besides 4K, Joy-Cons are the thing that needed the upgrade the most, really.
And the feeling of them as well. So scale-wise, I'm using clear ones, so hopefully you'll be able to see a bit better. That gives you a reasonably good idea, actually, of the size difference. You can almost imagine.
I wish they would be better buttons.
Center,
they look exactly the same.
So Joy-Cons themselves, well, the original ones are very small for my hands. I think anyone that had hands that were like, I don't know,
I hated them.
I won't say normal size. They're a little larger, then you really struggle with those. Now, a couple of things that we have seen in the original preview build, actually, is this longer curved edge. So although they are larger physically, they have this longer rounded or curved edge all the way around. As for the rear, is exactly the same. So you've got that matching curve on the back, but on the rear, it doesn't seem to be much different from what we used to. I think these Joy-Cons have a sharper edge here. You look, it has a sharper edge that comes around. It's still rounded, but it is definitely sharper than the original design. Now, as far as the scale difference of those Joy-Con, yes, they are certainly larger.
And one thing I completely forgot to mention when I was recording this is there's obviously the extra button on the right-hand Joy-Con that they've emblazoned a C on, perhaps for capture. Who knows?
They're also slightly wider, but not a huge amount, not proportional to the increase of the size of the console. I should imagine Nintendo, there's only so large they want to go with these. But I'm thinking that most people won't have a problem with those. I mean, still they feel quite small. Actually, I can see why they've gone for this. This is a lot more comfortable right over the top there. And then the way that this works around the back just feels very familiar. Feels very similar to...
I do like that. I think it looks better.
The original model. I wonder if this design is correct. I mean, I guess that this area here could be slightly recessed. Maybe on the actual model, it allows it to come underneath. So I guess there is a way they could do it. But then that wouldn't leave a huge amount of room inside for whatever mechanism or however this works. Yeah, it's all very interesting, isn't it? Obviously, we're looking at magnets potentially. This is just stuck onto the side. I'm tempted to see if I can pull it off. I'll end up just breaking it though. So yeah, probably not a good idea doing that. Button placement. Again, very similar. Interestingly, look, you can see they've kept these in the same place and then scaled in both directions.
I'm kind of slightly disappointed with the controller now. I mean, slightly bigger. The trigger looks better. I want better buttons, a little bit bigger buttons. That would be a game changer if they just did bigger buttons. Come on, Nintendo. What the hell? I mean, if this is accurate, the buttons look like slightly bigger. But I don't know. They could have done better. Okay, so take that for what you will. I wanted to do a breakdown of the comparison between this mock-up Switch 2, or someone claims they got this, the measurements and made a 3D print of it, comparing it to the Switch OLED. I think this is kind of a boring release. I'll be honest with you, until I see the games. If the games are amazing, it doesn't matter. If the games are amazing, it doesn't matter. And I will tell you one thing, if this Joy-Con is accurate, I was trying to be optimistic. That's a little bit bigger, feel better on the hands. They better have the drift gone. If this releases with drift, that's unexcusable. And honestly, at the very least, gouge your cash cow fans and make a Joy-Con alternative, a Pro Joy-Con, and have it bigger buttons and stuff, and use it have it compatible for the Switch 2 for us with large hands. With all your adult collectors out there that love Nintendo. Nintendo's for everyone. But enough of this BS. Give us some options with the Joy-Con. You made a system that's perfect for accessories, and we still got the same damn Joy-Cons, and it's almost 2025. Very different. I mean, not barely different, barely different Joy-Cons. If this is true, ridiculous. Why do we not have a Joy-Con Pro for Switch 2? I want it. I don't want to have to go to third party. Nintendo official Joy-Con Pro. That's all for this one. Please like, subscribe, and comment. Tell me what your thoughts are on this Switch 2 to OLED comparison. Do you think this is what Nintendo's going to release? Or do you think it's BS? Or do you think I am? And that's fine too. See you next video. Bye.